Welcome back, everybody, to another Stogie Lads cigar podcast. Lad, welcome back. How are you?
Great, man, great. We're recording this a few weeks after we had that intense week together in Stockholm. It's been, snowy Stockholm, actually. The last week it snowed a lot, and it's, mind you guys, it's the 7th of May, so that's just the life for us Northern European Swedes. It's ridiculous, really. How about you, lad? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. It's been the same here in Lund, really. It's just after last week, and we had some nice weather, but now it's pouring down the whole week. Been really poor. But also we got to see each other last week, and now we're recording this from afar. But that was beautiful. We got we got a reunion for the first time, or no, not the first time, but the second time here in Lund.
Yeah, but speaking of reunions, we did a lot during the week, and I think by the time this is out, you guys will have hopefully at least seen two of the videos. It's the blind testing one and the acid one, lad. Those were fun to make, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. Both of those were just like two new experiences for us in like our cigar journey. The blind testing obviously being very, very exciting. Yeah. 3 different cigars. 3 different moments where you could feel the pressure was on. But it was certainly fun.
And it's been crazy fun seeing all the interactions from it, because a lot of people have been DMing, and I think the most recurring theme, people have been praising us, which obviously very, very, very kind. But also just the most recurring thing was people who were like, oh wow, we could really see how nervous you were for the first one and all that kind of stuff. Like, God, you were really shitting yourself. And I was like, yep, we were. Because going into that, I felt like and people have been kind about it, but I felt like we had kind of a lot at stake, to be honest, right? I mean, we've been smoking cigars for like, let's say 4 years. We're young, but like I feel like we do reviews and we really focus a lot on the like content side of cigars. And I'm like, if we really, shit the bed on this one, like a lot of our credibility disappears.
Yeah, it was the first time we could really just or the first time we actually had to prove anything, or not prove in that sense, but just where the spotlight was like shone on us. And that was, it was a bit nerve-wracking, but it was, at the same time, it was very, I'm looking forward to doing another one actually, just because, for sure. Because it was so interesting.
Yeah, someone DM'd us today actually asking about that, so hopefully we can do it again. But like you say, actually, when you say prove, like it's true in a way. It's really easy to hide behind the internet. Like anyone can just Google cigar notes and be portrayed as sort of an expert or aficionado or whatever. We've always made a point that we don't, but obviously there's no way to prove it. And now I think we kind of proved that at least we're not completely lost. We know a little bit at least. But it was a lot of fun. I think we did well, considering. I think so, for sure. Yeah, I was impressed with your palate, really, because like you've been talking about it. No, but you've been talking about it recently. Like in Lund, you're not smoking as often. Like, so I don't know. I think you did really well.
That I was going to say.
Yeah.
I was actually happy that I could at least pinpoint that. Well, the Cubans from the non-Cubans, really. So that was, and I must say as well. I mean, you were on the money on the first one, like,
but you
on,
as well,
and
I'd say.
Yeah, exactly. But
but I think the only other things I want to say about this is, first and foremost, I think I just wanted to address, because I think we've gotten a little bit like mixed. Some people have had a lot of confidence. Some people that have like, I don't know. Some people have said sort of along the same lines as, well, if, like not of course, but like it's not that weird that you got Cuban from non-Cuban. But I do want to say that it is much tougher than I think a lot of people realize. I think when you go in with absolutely zero expectations, you cannot know, because it's not as easy. I really think so. Like when there's no band, you just don't see anything. It's just tobacco. I mean, it really becomes stripped down to like the core product, and it really isn't as easy as you think. I mean, that Davidoff, it could have been a very, very light Cuban cigar that didn't have a lot of Cuban twang, right?
Yeah, and of course there's like the cigars that you get, they vary as well in Cuban
Mm-hmm.
twang. Like it could
Mm-hmm.
be the same cigar that you get that just doesn't have that same strong
Yeah,
impact
so much
that
so.
another of those cigars would have. So yeah.
But I was talking about expectations a little bit, and that's another point I wanted to get to because first, okay, so like I said, it makes it more challenging, but I think the whole expectation thing makes it a very much a different experience. And I wrote about this in our Discord chat, but also a few times in the DMs to people. I think honestly, when like the days after, I was kind of reflecting on how because when we were doing it, I was so focused on just trying to hone down the notes, but I didn't really
Hmm.
think about how am I enjoying this experience. But after a few days after, I was sort of reflecting on it and like, how was that really? And I feel like when you go in with zero expectations, I think the notes and the flavors you experience are much more highlighted. I feel like I could taste things more clearly. When I think back to that Davidoff, it was like I wasn't really second guessing myself, even though outwardly to the camera I didn't want to express anything
Hmm.
too hard because I didn't want to come across as I was like either very cocky or very wrong. But
Yeah.
inwardly I was like, this Davidoff, it's very creamy. There is this coffee flavor. There's this nut, and like I was like 100% on it. The same with the Oil de Monterrey.
Hmm.
Like inside I was like, wow, cedar clear, Cuban clear, all that stuff. And I feel like yeah, when you're not tainted at all in any sort of aspect by any expectations, you're just
Hmm.
seeing the shape and the size of the cigar. Yeah, I feel like everything was a little bit clearer.
Yeah, that's definitely a very interesting point. Just like the how much is placebo and how much is
Mm-hmm.
actually what you actually think, you know. And
Yeah,
that's something that was really proven with this, and
yeah,
something that if you can do it yourself, like or with a friend or so, that you yeah that you like if you're two people, then you pick for your friend
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
yeah
yeah,
like three cigars or something like that. That's easy to make. Like we could do that, you and I as well.
for sure.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'd recommend that 100%
yeah.
if you can. If you have a friend, if you have a significant like anyone you live with,
Hmm.
ask them like, okay, go into my humidor, check out a cigar that I have similar sizes of. Obviously, you'll know what you have in your
Yeah.
humidor, but if you have like 5 different brands of Robustos, ask them to get a Robusto, take off the band, and give it to you.
Yeah.
It's a fun experience, and I think it's good to test yourself out. And I think, like I said, it it almost clarified even more the flavors because I had really zero expectations because I think I make an effort to really to say in my YouTube reviews whenever I do them that I
Hmm.
don't read reviews before because I want to have as little expectations as possible, and I'm like this in every facet of life, to be honest. I just made this connection now, but I never read about the movies I
Hmm.
watch when I go to the cinema, for example. I
Oh
hate
yeah.
giving myself expectations, and I'm the
Yeah.
same with cigars. But even though I don't read reviews, if I'm trying,
Hmm.
for example, a couple of weeks ago, I tried the Bolivar Tubos number two. It's a Vitola I haven't tried, but I've tried Bolivar cigars, and I
Hmm.
even just that I have expectations immediately, a lot of
Yeah.
expectations. I
Yeah. Yeah.
immediately my mind hones in. Okay, Cuban, full-bodied. Probably some leather, probably some pepper, probably some earth, and I'm already like, even though I don't know, I'm already moving in on that. And that
Yeah. Yeah.
Bolivar was different
Exactly.
to ones I've had. But
Yeah.
even just the band, even though I've not had that
Hmm.
cigar, that already changed my mind and changed the way I experienced the cigar. And that was really cool to go
Hmm.
do with the blind testing, having nothing going in.
Yeah. I find what like part of the unknowing is is that you really just enhance your analytical yeah perception, or like your
Yeah,
analytical what am I saying? Yeah, it's really increased if you know as little before the experience as possible, and that's true
yeah,
for everything, like you said, that you
yeah.
just really want to you want to trust your own judgment, really.
And then trying to get as smooth as a segue as possible. I think a cigar that wouldn't have been able to be added to the blind testing would have been the acids that we smoked because we would
Yeah.
have immediately been able to tell. What was your experience with those
Yeah.
like, lad? Just to recount a little bit.
Yeah, well, I think most most of you guys that have seen the video know that our experience was very, very one-sided, and
Yeah.
I was just blown away, not by yeah, not by the quality of it, just by really the experience that we had. That it was just the sweetest thing that I could expect from
Yeah.
an artificial cigar,
Yeah.
and just the most tainted flavors, and really, yeah.
Yeah, going into it, I from before we ordered them to the end, and I've been saying this in the DMs to tons of people as well. It's you can't really convey the way acids are without trying them, because even when I explained to people, like, we couldn't sense even this tiniest hint of tobacco on the nose, like smelling the wrapper, or on the first puffs. It was just all sugar, all like perfumey stuff. People, and even myself, when I'd read that about acid before, it's like you're expecting people to be exaggerating a little bit. It's like, of course it's going to be tasting like a cigar, but I genuinely didn't taste like a cigar at all, and that is what I was so shocked with. I just couldn't kind of break that down to how the hell, because cigars have such a prominent flavor. It's like, I don't know, it's like getting
it's quite
rid of
impressive actually that they were able to get rid of so much of the tobacco taste.
Yeah, to me, it's like getting rid of, getting like a 40% alcohol liquor and getting rid of, even any tiny hint of any burn, like how I can't imagine drinking like a straight up liquor, not even being able to sense that there's alcohol in it. And that's kind of the way I experience this acid. It's just like, I don't even know that I'm smoking tobacco right now. Like, if you told me this is some magical leaf, which was like, I don't know, candy or whatever, I'd be like, yeah, I mean, figures.
Yeah, exactly. It feels kind of like a Candyland cigar, like a cartoonish kind.
And a lot of people have DM'd us laughing, going like, well, I wasn't planning on buying these cigars ever, but now I know I don't want to. And this acid kind of falls in a funny category to me, where I don't recommend it, but I also do, because I'm glad that we tried it once. It's such a crazy experience, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's true. Yeah, definitely. It was like worth trying just to see what artificial cigars are.
Yeah.
And what it really is. Yeah, because some people actually, and also that's another thing that we were discussing, that this cigar, even because it's so widely sold, or sold in such large quantities, it might attract people to the cigar world and be like just one of the first cigars they try. And if that's the case, that it's the first cigar people try and really get into cigars that way, then that's something that I would definitely recommend, because that's great. I mean, that's great that they're bringing people to the cigar world. Really.
Yeah, you're right.
So we can't trash it too much.
Yeah. No, it is great that they're bringing, but then like on the other side of it, I also wouldn't ever recommend. Some people were like, yeah, well, this is what I'd recommend to a beginner, but I also, I guess, wouldn't really want to do that,
exactly.
It's not a replica.
Yeah.
No, but I understand what you mean, lad. Like, it does bring, apparently, people into the cigar world, but at the same time, I wouldn't choose it as my first recommendation.
Consensus.
So yeah, that's a recap. If you guys haven't seen those videos, you can go on to youtube.com /the Stogie Lads, or whatever. Just go to stogielads.com and you'll find our YouTube on there, or just search the Stogie Lads and you'll see it. Those were fun videos, and the blind testing one was the most high effort video we've ever done, with all the editing. And I hope you guys understand that the epic music in the beginning and all that stuff. I mean, that's like ironic, obviously. We didn't sit there with blindfolds taking deep breaths for real, But it was a really fun video to make with all that editing, and it was a long one as well. We were like, we were aiming for like 15-20 minutes, but we ended up overshooting that by like double. But I'm glad that we did in the end, because it was worth it to get all that info in. Yeah, that's it for the recap, right, lad? You want to move on to
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's time for me to ask you, what do you have in your glass, lad?
Yes, laddie, yes. Well, yeah, I am obviously, I haven't really made any additions since it will be the last podcast now. Yeah, the pairings one. I haven't actually made any additions since then, because I still have so much whiskey left to go. So I'm revisiting one of those to highlight how different it is with not a cigar in my hand. This is the Teeling rum cask, the Irish.
Oh, nice.
And it is very nice. This is actually the nicest time I'm sipping this like without a cigar. I don't know. The pepper
Mm-hmm.
influence isn't as heavy. I have had dinner now. I feel like that does change it a little bit. I've had like a nice
Yeah.
heavier dinner. I had some wine and all that stuff, and now finishing this with a dessert, like as a dessert whiskey, it works very well. It feels very sweet, like creme brulee
Yeah.
style, almost like burnt sugar ish. Not as tropical at all. And just to add on to like our pairings thing, I
Yeah.
was I listened back to that episode, and I really heard how many times I was just going, oh, it's very tropical. There's like that pineapple. I'm not getting any of the tropical stuff, so I think that was really unlocked by the
Mm-hmm.
cigar. But it is extremely pleasant right now, and it's drinking like a dream. Not like, I mean, it's drinking like a much more expensive whiskey than it is. How about you, lad?
Yeah, I
What's in
remember that
your
one. Yeah, I'm missing that one.
what's in your bottle? I guess.
Yeah, in my bottle, I have a Birra Moretti, just a lager here, and it's basically just leftovers from the ballboy weekend we had last week.
Leftovers.
And yeah, exactly. Got to finish the leftovers, right? You can't
Oh,
have
I
them in
remember
the
that
fridge
beer.
for over a week.
Oh yeah, I remember that
Mhm.
beer. Yeah, we were from cleaning up at 8 a.m.
But this is sitting really well after yeah, an entire day at school. So just nice to, what's better than coming home after school and having a beer, right? That's what I
Yeah,
would say.
you've been working your ass off, man. Studying hard. That's
Yeah,
that's
after
the way
that
to go.
weekend.
That's the way to go. But yeah,
But yeah,
I guess coming. I mean, you guys have read it on the. Might be a little bit confused with why we're gagging on about other stuff. But from the title, you guys have seen that we have a guest on for the first time. So yeah, lad, do you want to, I guess, go on to that before we head to that segment?
absolutely. This is very exciting for us because it is, like you said, the first time we have a guest on here, and it's no one less than Edgar Julián Suede, who has launched his own cigar company. And yeah, just from the ground up, he's making the cigars and just he pumping out these absolutely beautiful cigars that we haven't had the chance to try yet because they're not available in Sweden. Um, he's from the Dominican Republic and selling mostly in the United States. And yeah, you're gonna listen to this guy. It was an honor having him on here, and just yeah, great experience. You can say some words about him as well, Lon.
Yeah, so cool. I mean, we were planning, we were like, oh, it would be awesome to have a guest on at some point, but we wanted to, establish the podcast a little bit before. So it is our 10th episode. I just realized, lad. So it's nice to have a guest on the 10th.
All
yeah,
right.
but we have some episodes under our belt, so but yeah, we wanted to really highlight because this is kind of a big deal. I don't know, like for the first ever guest, Mr. Sued himself, Edgar Julián, he has a pretty like big deal company at the moment. Like he launched it during the pandemic, and a lot of like cigar companies in their infancy have to exist for a long time or like battle their way up, but he has kind of hit the ground running. He's made some like regular production lines that he has, Monovarietal, and I think it's called Edgar Julián, his other line. But other than that, he also has this bundle fever thing where they do limited productions of these bundle style cigars. Kind of out there designs, really cool looking stuff. Caldwell do pretty similar stuff with like their Lost and Found series for you guys to get your idea, if you guys know about that. It's sort of like a small production, pretty like eye-catching bands, and then they'll release them through Privada Cigar Club, Small Batch Cigar Club. You guys probably know about that if you're American. So big deal stuff, and he's got a huge sort of following now after that, and I mean he's become pretty big deal. I remember chatting to both Ruben and another friend I'll just mention in a second. But I was scrolling through Reddit one day, and I knew about Edgar Julián through this other friend called Manuel that both me and Ruben have met. We met through Instagram, another Dominican guy. But I scrolled through Reddit one day, and I was like, the cigar group on Reddit, or the cigar page, and then within 2 minutes I saw two different posts, going like, ooh, new haul come in, got myself some Edgar Julián Suede, and I was like, I texted Manuel, our friend, who knows Edgar Julián from way back, and I was like, dude, he's making ripples here in the cigar community. Like, people are posting organically. People are like buying his cigars by a lot, and it was really awesome to see. So yeah, I really just wanted to highlight that this is a kind of a big deal guest to have on, and he has he has a lot of experience before. We do mention it more in depth. I just wanted to say that he worked under Chico Rivas and Henke Kellner Jr. And for those people that know a little bit more about cigars, the Kellners run Davidoff completely. So Henke Kellner Sr. is completely in charge of Davidoff, and his son, Henke Kellner Jr., has worked with Davidoff a lot as well. Has worked with Avo, I believe. I think he ran Avo completely, AVO or Avo, and has done a lot more. Yeah. So Edgar Julián was sort of the apprentice under Henke Kellner. So, I mean, what better tutelage could you have than learning under some complete masters? Chico Rivas as well, master of cigars in the Dominican Republic. So yeah, really, really, really awesome. We chatted with him for about half an hour. Just, him teaching us some of his wisdom from inside the cigar industry and just talking to us about how a young guy during the pandemic can create a cigar brand and reach such success. I mean, he's already widening his horizons and looking to expand and enter Europe. And I mean, that's just a testament to how good he is doing and how masterful he is at his craft. Because I mean, I don't think a lot of people even can establish themselves in the United States for a year and a half, let alone, want to expand internationally. So it's, really awesome.
Yeah, massively interesting talking with him, and we hope you guys enjoy the interview.
Okay, so welcome. We have our first ever guest, extremely exciting. We have Mr. Edgar Julián Sued of his newly started cigar and tobacco company, Julián Sued y Compañía. Julián, welcome, and we're so happy to have you here, man.
Thank you for having me.
So, for people that aren't aware, might not know, just tell us a little about who you are and what you do in the cigar world.
Well, so my name is Edgar Julián Sued, or Edgar Julián Sued, as you said it correctly. And I was born and raised in Santiago, Dominican Republic. Basically, I'm not a part of 100 years tradition of tobacco or so, but I'm a tobacco lover and I love my country, and I believe that besides tradition, tobacco, it's probably the most important cultural asset, that we have here in the Dominican Republic. Mm-hmm. And I'm a cigar maker who started in the industry in 2013. Mm-hmm. Developing and commercializing what was Campesino series, and along boutique factories here in Tamboril in Santiago, Dominican Republic. I started with Chico Rivas in 2013, and then in 2016 started working different projects with Hendrik Kellner Jr. in his KBF, Kellner Boutique Factory. Mm-hmm. And now during 2020, during COVID times, I took the opportunity and started my own facility, our own factory. So we are boutique cigar makers as well.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah, pretty good, activity to get up to during COVID and quarantine. Not everyone starts their own company, but that's really awesome.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen a bunch of cool stuff that you're doing right now, and as two young guys, we also, even though we just run an Instagram page, we've definitely just felt some like gatekeeperism, as cigars is, as you know, hobby and industry is still very much dominated by an older generation. So we'd like to ask you how it has been being a young guy starting up this business in the cigar industry.
I can't say it's been easy, but it's been fantastic. It's been beautiful and fun. Lots of experiences, lots of characters, including ourselves for sure. And I wouldn't change a thing.
That's fantastic. I mean, we do say that you are young, as we are. Ruben and I are we are. I think a lot of people do react to that quickly, that we are very, very young, and people, sometimes can't kind of understand that we
Still students.
Yeah, like how would we know anything about cigars? But I mean, even though you are a decently young guy in the cigar industry, probably, I mean, you are very, very experienced. You did mention a little bit Chico Rivas. You did mention Henke Kellner as well. You know, for people that don't know, maybe you can just say a few words about who those guys are, because I mean, you really had some great, you know, people to be an apprentice under. And you know, what was your time like with those two guys? And yeah, who are they basically? And yeah, what was your experience with them like? Yeah.
Well, you know, they both are super nice manufacturers. They have, each one have like a different school, let's say. So Hendrik Kellner Jr. comes from Davidoff. Chico Rivas did a long time with Quesada cigars, and there's many things. Like, I learned special things from each one. With Hendrik, it was all what has to do with organization, you know, discovering new tobaccos, production, also the professional part of it. With Chico, I learned a lot about the quality process, the quality control, the manufacturing, the selection and sorting of the tobaccos. So I really appreciate learning from them, from both of them. Obviously, you know, I learned many different things from them, but all of them fantastic. Because of them, I'm here. You know, because of them, I have now my own facility. Took 7 years, let's say, but one day I was gonna make it. You know.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Like we've heard that, you know, that to produce a cigar and to have it in your hand, it like passes around 100 hands almost. So like there must be so much to learn, and 7 years. I mean, that sounds like a really fun journey. Like it's gonna be longer than my education, really. So you have a master's in tobacco producing.
There's many things to learn. You never get to the point where you have learned everything. In tobacco, that does not exist. Every single day you keep learning and improving, because
exactly
that's what's fascinating of tobacco, that it's so special that you never learn. Tobacco teaches you every single day. What works for someone probably doesn't work for me. What works for me probably doesn't work for any other factory. So it's an infinite learning, you know. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, not at all. We want to hear every one of your thoughts. But if we're talking about the American cigar market, then while being the world's largest by far, it is also the most competitive, as we've understood. So some brands, they really have resorted to some gimmicky stuff to like get the attention, I guess, like when you're trying to enter a new market. And you've already achieved a lot of success and praise launching your brand in the US. What was your mindset going into launching the brand? Like, did you feel pressure resorting to some gimmicky practices, or did you just feel like you could let your cigars and their quality do the talking, really?
Gimmicky, what to say? It's but you know, that's part of, that's the fun part of the business. Different kind of products will get different comments, different reviews, and all that probably can work, you know, because it's visibility and exposure of a product. But at the end, if you don't do the things the proper way, probably you won't last forever, you know. So at the end, the most important thing to bring to your customer, it's quality and consistency. If you have a product that you consider yourself, which has happened to me, I consider myself, wow, that's the worst product being done here in this factory, and it's nice and it's smokable, everything, but it's not my personal preference, right? And you know, in a blink of an eye, it's the best seller of the factory. So it's sometimes what to say. At the end, it's the customer who will tell you what's gimmicky, what's not, what works and what don't work.
Yeah.
Of course, always, as I just told you, with nice quality and consistency. Even if you don't like that product, but you did it this way, so just keep it doing it that way.
No, that makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, what you're saying, yeah, I've seen so many gimmicky projects. Like I've read about a lot of weird cigars. I remember reading about this caffeine-laced cigar, which was supposed to be this, I don't know, a cigar that also gives you energy. But I mean, it was crap. It could apparently not burn, whatever. No, I mean, it got a lot of press, but didn't work. No quality, no consistency. It fails. But I think what I
listen.
Yeah.
Sometimes the cigar that I like the most, it's the worst seller. And that's it's sad for me, but it's a good thing that tells me, because I'm not the one going out there and doing like the effort to buy a product and they enjoy and then try to enjoy it, and then if the customer don't like it, I failed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I have to bring the best, at least what the customer is looking for. You know, that's what I have to. Yeah. That's my goal. Of course, always with quality and consistency.
You sound a lot like an artist. It's very interesting to just reflect a little bit on your words, because I feel like there are artists that like musical artists that admit that they know what's good and what sells, and they pump that out. And if they do more of their own passion projects, sometimes people don't really buy into it, and it's very interesting. I just wanted to ask another thing though. Speaking of artistry, and you have some different you have different lines in your catalog. Some more traditional looking stuff, but then you have these bundle series stuff that I've seen a lot online, and they got a lot of hype. I just wanted to ask you, how behind? Because if people listening to this, I think you should Google the Picky Smalls, for example. That's a really cool looking one. I think that looks really awesome, and just that's a very eye catching. Just the band and the design and all that stuff. Like, are you behind all of that? Are you the mastermind there, or do you have like?
Yeah. We do that with. We have a marketing team, and they take charge of giving us the final phase of the branding and the products. But then I'm the one doing the names and putting like the main idea, and that's super fun. It's super fun, and it's super friendly commercially talking, because it's a 5-pack bundle, nice price, super nice cigars, and it's fun. I love it. I love working with the bundle fever. I love working as well with monovarietal, Millésime d'Or, all those like, let's say, more formal or less casual than the bundle fever products. I do love them as well, but the bundle fever keeps me always trying to get let's do a new bundle fever. Let's do new
experimental. Yeah,
exactly.
I definitely like the look of those very much, and we're sad that we can't get them here yet, but hopefully there comes a day for that. And obviously we're all lovers of cigars here. That's why we have this channel. And even though you get to work with cigars, and even though you're sitting smoking a cigar here now, talking with us, we know that it's not all just sitting back and just smoking. There's got to be a lot of hard work, like you've said, to get to this point. So really, what I want to ask was, what has been like the toughest part or the biggest challenge so far in your career to get to this point?
Well, the biggest challenge was the closure of our cigar shop. I opened in the north coast of the Dominican Republic, in Cabarete. That was in 2015, and it was named Casa de Tabaquería 1844. By then I had the Tabaquería 1844 and Campesino and all this. And, I had to close it in 2017. because it was not business, and I was distracted and I was believing in something. I was putting effort in something that it was not working, and that was difficult. That was real difficult. But for me, life goes on always, and I consider myself a warrior. So yes, of course, I could stop for a few and sad months, but then I just got back to my thing, and which is making cigars, great cigars for our friends and family. Recognizing that those moments, those sad moments or whatever, they don't last forever, and the world doesn't stop because of you. So we just keep going forward and went back to cigars. So honestly, I don't have space for that, for memories, like for that kind of memories, for big like every day it's a big challenge, because what we're looking forward to do is to expand, to get cigars like, for example, Sweden. Why not? So these are daily basis challenges, but besides that, I mean, it's not easy, but nothing like to suffer, nothing to suffer for.
No, that sounds like a sort of a recurring theme here. That I mean, you mentioned it's a sort of similar thing with the fact that some of your favorite cigars can't be the best sellers. This was a passion project for yours too. I remember reading an article about your shop there. But you can't hold on to it. You got to just power through. And I mean, it sounds like you have a great mentality for that. Your warrior mentality, like you say. That's awesome. But on the flip side, I'm sure, obviously some challenges, but there must be some really golden moments in the industry. I mean, I've fantasized about it for sure. Can you name any moment or moments that you can really remember that stuck with you, where you really thought, wow, I'm working with what I love here, and this is all just so worth it? Like any specific moments that comes to mind?
Yeah, of course. And what to say? Like every time we get a good review, good comments, new supporters, new private labels in our factory, that means we're doing a good job, And still we keep improving every single day. This year accomplishment started earlier, and it's that we got a limited edition collaboration with Claudio Sgroi, former Mombacho president and actual president of the Cámara Nicaragüense de Tabaco. That's the Nicaraguan Tobacco Chamber. And a guy that has 20 years in the industry, he's doing a collaboration with us, not with
That's huge.
any other big companies which he had worked before here or in Nicaragua, or you name it, and he decided to do that collaboration with us. So that means that we're on a nice path, on a right path. We're doing
That's huge.
good job, and still, let's say I'm not a very comfortable with all the things that we're doing. I'm always trying to improve, to make things better, and to it's not perfectionist. That's not the word, but that's the point. Like to
You avoid getting
never-ending
complacent.
improvement.
Yeah, all right. So, like most people in the industry, I guess you were a cigar smoker and fan before you got into working with cigars professionally. So when you then entered the industry and started working with it, was there something that really surprised you, that you only could have learned from working in the industry and not as only a consumer?
Well, yes, many things. The process to do a quality cigar takes more time than people could think. The precision in the curing process to get a nice, gentle, noble tobacco the time that tobacco bales have to sit before being used, the aging room, the precision in the aging room, humidity and temperature, in order to have a decent aging process, etc. You know, it's many things.
So yeah, you mentioned the bundle fever, and those have been very popular. Like I said, I've noticed, and you've been working with these sort of new age retailers like Privada and Small Batch. Are there any other like trends in the cigar industry that you're noticing, either working with? I mean, obviously the cigar industry has been ever shifting. I mean, the U.S. has been shifting towards bigger cigars, darker cigars, you know, slowly throughout the years. And are there any other trends that you've noticed or felt, or that you find interesting, or that you think might come? I mean, anything from inside that has struck you?
You know, the market demands what they want. You just have to be open and aware of it, and to know which is your target, which is your market. I don't know. Lately, I've seen, and as well, it depends on the area where those cigars are being consumed. Like in the northeast area of New York, besides Robusto and Toros, it's very popular on a segment. The 60 by 6, let's say.
Yeah, the Gordos.
You know, it's a thing that I've never done before, and now I'm making for private labels. So, you know, I'm always open to all the requests from the consumers. Every time that we can do a super nice, gentle and extraordinary smoke. So I don't know if there's like, I haven't realized, or at this moment I can say which is like the more trending thing. I know that in the US, Toros are big seller. They are basically the best seller. Me, I'm a smoker of Coronas, Corona Gorda. You know, if it's my smoke to go to, it's a 42 or 46.
Same here, yeah. Completely agree, yeah.
Once in a while, of course, I can have a 50 by 6, which this one I was having, the Mad Love, it's a 50 by 6.5. And, but you know, smoking cigars, it's like music. You don't listen to rock every single minute of the day. Sometimes you listen to bossa nova, sometimes you listen to rock, then you listen to classical music or whatever, you know. So it's same thing with cigars, I guess. Not me, I don't smoke 3 times a day, 52 by 6. No, I switch depending on my mood as well.
Yeah, I like to say that with cigars as well. Variety is the spice of life. But yeah, okay, so you touched on it a little bit. We know you can't reveal everything about it, but the collaboration with Claudio Scroi, it's called Cinque Terre, right? You posted a little bit about it on your Instagram. We've been seeing that, and I mean, for those that don't speak Italian, what can people be looking for in that? Because that seems like a very exciting project from several different standpoints.
Well, I can say 2 things. One is that Cinque Terre, it's a collaboration with Claudio Scroi, and the other one, it's, as you said, the components are from 5 different countries, and you know, in a few weeks we'll be posting more about it. So keep following us, huh?
Yeah, this one seems super exciting, and we know that you're doing a lot right now with the company, and just wanted to ask you if you have like a set vision for the company, or like you've talked about how with you have to know your consumers, your customers, and that like shapes the company. Is that your mindset going forward now, or do you have like a grand master plan for the company?
Well, you know, the vision it's simple. It's making today better cigars than yesterday. It's a never-ending improvement. That's our vision. It's
Yeah.
That's it.
That's a very good motto to have in a company. Yeah.
So okay, so we've been talking a lot about your company, and obviously you've been mentioning tons of all your fantastic lines. But I just wanted to ask, from the guy himself, if you're going to ask someone for recommendations of what to smoke from, Julián Suede de Compañía, you would want to ask the guy himself. If you were willing to give some recommendations for people that are listening that can get your cigars, just recommendations and a rundown of what you guys make and what you would recommend for people to try if they haven't tried them before.
Well, I would suggest let's say like to a traditional smoker to give away 45 minutes of his time with a monovarietal Corojo Robusto, and then he'll say, then he'll realize what we're doing,
I mean, I could think of worse ways to spend 45 minutes, to be honest. So that's
Yeah. So now that we've heard everything about your fantastic company and even plans for the future, we have the new drop coming, or your new drop in 3 weeks' time or something like that. We just want to let you have the room here to for people to find you. Where can they buy your stuff? Where do they get to know everything about your wonderful company?
Well, people can always visit us at Julián Suede Tabac on Instagram, and that's the most social, let's say, media at the moment.
Yeah.
And write us an email at info@juliansuedetabac.com. And for the moment, they can find us in the U.S. market. And, I don't want to mention shops, because if I don't mention once and I mention a few, they say, but yes, in U.S. you can find us in California, in Florida, in New York, in North Carolina, Texas. So we have a nice reach, so with an email we can give the more specific information, okay? Of course, looking forward to get into the Swedish market.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Please, man. But it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. The first guest, absolutely fantastic. I mean, some of those answers were, I almost forgot that I was sitting here recording a podcast, just like listening, taking in some of the wisdom. It was absolutely amazing, man. Thank you so much.
Guys, thank you for having me. It's been a real pleasure. I hope that this was a nice show, right? And for sure we'll meet soon.
I definitely hope so.
All right. Well, that was our first ever interview with our first ever guest. I hope you guys really enjoyed that.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. It was certainly an experience having such a talented and just interesting guy in the cigar industry come join us. And we're looking forward to probably having more guests on here. If you guys enjoy that, let us know. And we'll fulfill what you guys want.
Absolutely, as always. Let us know, and we'll cater to your interests. But that was a lot of fun for sure. So cheers, guys. Thank you for listening as always. We will see you guys in the next one.
Cheers.